All right, so it is, I don't even know what day. I think it's 108.
Oh, yeah.
Hawkeye's over here. We've got Sharon and Dale, and I cannot begin to explain how gracious we are for their hospitality.
Very much.
They were exactly what we need when we needed it. And it is a blessing to us and to have them in our lives and to have all the hospitality. So guys, I want to say a deep, heartfelt thanks for,
Absolutely.
a wonderful place to stay, excellent conversation, wonderful supper last night, desserts, snacks, dropping everything. Can you run us here? Can you take us there? And we appreciate you guys and thank you for your ministry, and I hope that God will continue to enrich you. So
we've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed you guys.
Yep.
Thank you so very, very much.
Yes.
Well, the Appalachian Trail, we are headed northbound finally. We've got all of our gear. Thank you again, Sharon and Dale, for your hospitality. And I don't know how we could have done it without. And you as a viewer probably don't know all the things that have been going on. Gavin had some hip issues a few days ago that necessitated picking him up off the trail. We wound up to an ortho, an urgent care drop-in, walk-in ortho clinic to get an x-ray. He ate something yesterday that disagreed with his stomach. So it's just been a comedy of errors for the last week trying to get back on the trail, because we had intended to be long gone by now. And it just didn't work out. But thankfully, we had a place that we could stay and people looking after us, and that was a true blessing. So our plan is about 20 or 21 miles today to, I think it's Rausch Gap or something, shelter. We're going to pass a shelter in about 3 miles. That's supposed to be a really nice one. I hope it's on the trail instead of off trail a bit so I can show it to you. But we're both going to be adjusting to carrying our full gear today. Hopefully that'll go well, and we'll keep up with you during the day today and show you what we see. Well, we got a little bit of rocks this morning. It's Pennsylvania, of course there's rocks. And later in the day we would have a view. Not yet, but it's a little socked in so far. But this is what we got so far on the trail, and hopefully we'll make good time today. Well, there's a tree that I want to show you, and I can't find the one. I'll keep looking for it. It's an interesting little tree, or at least it always has been to me. And I've seen quite a few of them. It's called sassafras. There's one over there just a bit off the trail that was a good example, but I couldn't get to it. But I'll keep my eyes open. I'll show it to you in a few minutes if I can find another one. And that plant's called poison oak. Well, oddly, I'm not seeing one now, but we'll see one, I'm sure, later on in the day. And I'll show it to you. The interesting, well, I won't spoil the surprise, so see you in a bit. Well, maybe a little bit of a view here. It's still awfully socked in. We've got a great view of the power lines. I think it's interesting how sometimes they hum, sometimes they don't. These are very quiet. I've read somewhere that has to do with humidity and that sort of thing, but this right of way is just a huge swath out through the mountains, and we got the farmland down below. Oh, there I hear them humming a little bit. So plowing on forward this morning, hoping to make 20 today. And like I said earlier, it has been a crazy, crazy week of sometimes frustration, but blessings too. It's great that we had a place that we could be, and we needed to be off the trail for a day or two. So that's a God thing, and we appreciate the hospitality that we've had this week. But it is time for us to get moving forward and try to make our way onward to Maine. And I'm excited about doing that today. Well, we've come to the Table Rock view. I don't think it's going to be much of a view because it's still a little socked in this morning. But we'll go over, see what we can find. Yeah, as I thought, very socked in. Pretty, but it's not a whole lot to see right here. But there would be if we were here later in the day, I think. The weather's going to get better, I think, as the day goes on. Well, it's been a day or two, well, a week, since we've done much hiking. and just came along this rock wall right here that's over on the side. I think that it drops off pretty sharp over beyond that, but I thought that was kind of cool. Oh, and I just found, if I can get through the poison oak. All right, sassafras, this little tree right here. Interesting thing about it, one, it tastes like tea berry chewing gum. If you chew the leaves, it's edible. You can make tea out of the roots. But if you look at the leaves, sometimes the leaves are 3-lobed. That one on the top left is. Sometimes just a single leaf. Sometimes 2-lobed. And I don't know why that is, but I've just always thought sassafras trees are kind of interesting. In my mind, I figure the leaves do that based on maturity, but you know, that single lobed leaf was as large as the triple, so that's probably not true. But I've always enjoyed seeing sassafras trees because they're just, you know, because they have 3 different leaves. And they do, you can chew on the leaves or make tea out of the roots, as I said. It's a good flavor. So anyway, I thought I would show you that. I've been watching for one up the trail. I saw one early this morning, but it was further off the trail and I couldn't get to it. So anyway, moving on, we've been pretty flat today. A little bit of rocks, not horrible. A few times I've slipped and stayed myself with my poles, which remain my favorite piece of gear out here. But on the whole, it's been a good day of walking. Well, here's Peter's Mountain Shelter. Just kind of popping in to show you the shelter. Not staying. There's somebody camped back there. But it's a large shelter, and it would be a good place to stay. Good morning. Good. So anyway, I'll show you a little bit about it. There's somebody up here sitting, so I'm not going to show his face, but 2 stories, really nice shelter, and we're going to head on up the trail. Well, here's a trail marker, and it's showing us the Appalachian Trail. I hope this isn't a sign. I know the trail's mostly flat today, so we should be good. We'll probably deal with some rocks, but that's always a mental thing when you see that kind of a sign right there before a trail. But we'll plow on forward and keep moving towards our next destination. Well, I'm kind of at the end of a little side trail to Kentor View. Don't remember this. I'm not sure whether to go up on the rocks or go around the rocks. Maybe both. Well, this is as high as I'm going to get. If I went down there on that rock down there, I could see some more. So let me set the phone down and I'll go down to that rock and we'll see what we can see. Okay, that's better. It's very hazy out this morning. We're definitely up on the top of everything, but you probably can't see the perspective that I've got, but that's just, even though it's hazy and not the distant view that we've had, the waves of trees just kind of wafting out in front of us are just gorgeous, and the camera probably doesn't do that justice. So all in all, I'm glad I came over here, and I'm glad I was able to share it with you. All right, so here we go. This is the first iteration of venomous snakes. We've got a timber rattlesnake to the left underneath the black snake, and the copperhead is underneath the black snake or around the black snake. So, wow, that's something. Yeah. Glad they're off the trail. Yeah. But anyway, I guess it's time for us to start really paying attention to where we're walking as we go through these rocks up here. Well, we're in the process of a little bit of a downhill right now. The trail here at the middle of the day has a down and then an up. I think it's, I don't know, 800 or 1,000 feet maybe. Looks like on the map maybe the up was more gradual than the down. We just came over some stairs coming down. But right now we're flat. We should have a stream down here at the bottom, and it probably would behoove us to get a little bit of water just to be sure. I haven't looked ahead to see beyond this, but I did notice when we stopped at lunch at the top of the hill up there, there was a water source down here. But I didn't look further up the trail, and I should have. So we'll probably pull off and get a liter or so just to be sure, in case water gets scarce this afternoon. That's a real concern. I remember that being a huge issue for us when we came through Pennsylvania in 2019. Quite a number of places where water sources were few and far between, and we had to rely on some people dropping water caches at road crossings, and sometimes they'd be there, sometimes they wouldn't, sometimes they'd be empty, sometimes people would have emptied them, considering them, on trail littering. So that's one of those things that's kind of hard to wrap your mind around, that there are actually people of authority that would consider putting a few gallons of water 15 or 30 feet up the trail off of road crossing to be littering when you're, in the middle of a dry area. There's no other water source, and hikers have to have water to be sustained. So I don't know, that's one of those things that I think maybe a little bit of overkill on, but hopefully we won't have water issues this trip. We're coming through earlier in the year, so it's not as hot, and the seasonal water sources maybe are still flowing better than they would be in the heat of the summer. So I'll keep you posted as we go up the trail. Like I said, we'll stop for water down here at the stream, I suspect, and then we'll do our little climb back up on the ridge, and we'll be off for another ways. Well, we just come out of the woods, and we've got to we come to this creek here, and I think we are going to stop here and get a liter or two of water just for the sake of safety. I think we'll have plenty of water later today, but it doesn't hurt to have a little bit more. So we'll fill up our bladders and get back on the trail here just in a minute. Well, it looks like we're going to follow this stream. Well, no, we may be just turning away from it, but it was a beautiful little stream. There's a couple folks coming up behind us trout fishing. We saw somebody back at the roadway too doing the same. So nice little stream there. We got a little bit of a flat here, and we're going to go back up on the ridge. Hopefully that won't be too steep. And once we're up there, we're up there. It's just kind of a coast and skirt along the top for a while to end our day. We're not there yet. We're, I don't know, what time is it? 1 o'clock? 12:15. It's not as late as I thought. So 12:15, and we probably have done our 10 miles by 12. I haven't looked, but we were doing 21 today, so we're about to the halfway point, and that finishes up before 5, so I think we'll be all right. We'll just have to get accustomed to doing some later days to make up for having sat still, or largely still, for the last week with injuries and logistics issues and that sort of thing. But we need to try to average somewhere in the 18 to 20 range if we're still going to take a day off every week between now and finishing up in July. So we're playing it by ear. We'll try to make it. If we don't make it, we'll keep plowing forward till we do make it. Well, here's the other stream we were planning on stopping at, but we're good right now. But it is pretty and rushing, so I thought I'd show you. We have this really cool bridge right here. Back up a little bit. Big slab of rock over here carrying us across. Still getting buzzed by gnats or mosquitoes or something. I may have to stop and spritz some bug spray here in a minute, but for right now I'm going to stop and look at this. Now this is some orange water here. I guess they've got red mud up here like we do. Well, it may be algae, I'm not sure which. Because I remember seeing, when we were here before, somewhere up this way, several streams that were just orange as could be. Even when we filtered the water out, it still came up mildly orange. So I don't know what's up with that. But this is kind of a neat little sluice and stream right here. It comes out of the mountain right over there. So I can tighten up a little bit right there. And I'm assuming our trail goes up there because that's uphill and there's rocks. So that's always a really good assumption when you're out here and you've lost the trail. Look for something that goes uphill and it's very rocky. And 9 times out of 10, you found the trail. Let me go over here and take a better view of this since I'm standing so close. It's coming right out of the side of the mountain right there. Very beautiful. But I am kind of curious about the orange because I don't think that's necessarily mud. So anyway, just curious. I haven't picked up the phone in a little while, but I think we've made it to the top of the ridge, and for the last ways, it's just been flat and wide. It's a little bit more narrow now, but slight uphill, but not bad. It's been good hiking. I think we'll make good time in the last little bit of the afternoon. I'm hoping to be there between 4 and 5, which is not too late of hiking. We're going to have to get accustomed to going a little farther in a day. I think we've got 21 today, maybe not quite so far tomorrow. And we'll just have to kind of do some looking at the trail profile and the elevation and all that kind of stuff, and just make sure we don't bite off more than we can chew, but I think we're in good shape for right now. I'm not sure who this fellow was. I'll have to look him up. But there's I don't know, 121 mile trail apparently that ends here. I don't know whether it goes out this way. Yes, because there's a horseshoe blaze right there on this tree. You can't see it from the leaf. There we go. Maybe. Oh yeah, there it is. So anyway, that goes 121 miles that way, but that's not our direction, so we're going to plow forward. And we're still, you know, kind of maintaining basically flat, more or less wide open trail this, today. A little bit rocky, but it's not. I mean, it's just rocks down in the dirt. They're not hard to walk on, and they're not tripping us up at the moment. So for that, we're grateful. Well, Hawkeye for the win again. He was just noticing these rhododendron right here have not bloomed yet. And we have yet to see a blooming rhododendron on the entire trail, which is just odd. Because we were at Sharon and Dale's house the other day. They've got one at the corner of their house, and it was just gorgeous. It was full of blooms. So I think it's odd that there's that much difference in a little bit of elevation. We just came by this creek right here and stopped and filled our water. This is probably our last good water source for 7 miles to our shelter area. So probably the right thing to do. Hawkeye's up in front of me. We've got a really beautiful little creek right here, and it's a good place to stop. You can camp here if you needed to, but we're going to move on up the trail and get a little bit more miles in today, so we'll see you up the way. Well, more wildlife on the trail today. So black snakes 2, copperhead 1, rattlesnake 1. But man, that thing's 6 feet long. It's huge. Mm-hmm. But anyway, just moving off the trail. We'll head on up the road here just in a sec. Okay. Well, we're passing through the Yellow Springs Coal Mine Village ruins right here. It'd be a great campsite. There's water that we just passed. Lots of flat grassy areas. The only downside to it is mosquitoes or gnats or whatever's dive bombing my head. I'm about ready to pull out a bug net or some bug spray. But at any rate, carrying on up the trail, but this was kind of pretty, so I thought I would pause and show it to you. There's a trail register here in the mailbox that you can kind of sign in if you stay here, kind of like the shelter logs. Well, I thought I'd show you this nice little open area right here that we're hiking through. We are surely at the very end of the day. It's 4:30. I haven't checked mileage, but I got to believe we're within, you know, a few tenths of the shelter that we were aiming for, just based on the last mileage check we did do and what time I thought we would be here. But wow, I'm tired today. 21 point some odd coming out of town has made it a rather long day. Coming out of town with basically a week off to kick. It's been tough. I know that we need to do this kind of mileage, and I think we'll adjust to it. But after about a week off, mostly, this has really been a tough day. But we'll make the best of it. We'll get here, we'll get some supper, get settled in, and get a good night's rest, and we're back at it again tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be able to show you the shelter when we get there. Usually I'll film it if there's not many people there, or if it's folks that I know. But I dare say we'll not know anybody there. A lot of the folks that we've been hiking with have hiked on ahead of us. And maybe we'll catch up to them some way, or somewhere up the way. Maybe not, we'll see. So we'll be meeting new people, and that's always exciting too. So anyway, I'll touch base with you shortly. Well, this is the Rausch Gap shelter. We've hung our food up, we've eaten. Gavin's testing out his new tent tonight. Got quite a few folks out here camping in tonight, but we're gonna get ready and head to the bed just shortly after I dispatch one more smelly thing. And thank you for joining us today. So we're gonna be back out tomorrow looking for maybe a 23-mile day, and maybe we'll cut it short. I don't know. We did 21 today, and that was tough. So we'll play it by ear tomorrow, and we've got a bailout point at about 23 miles. So or at about 18 miles. So we'll see how it goes, and thank you for watching today, and we'll see y'all in the morning.